I may or may not have done something slightly unhinged, and that is to apply to be an indie author at a literary convention in August of 2027. Why? Why is that unhinged, you might ask? Well, it's because I don't have any published books. Yeah, I don't have any published books, but I am in the process of becoming a self-published author, have been for the last couple of years, and I decided, why not apply and see what happens? So I have not given you an update on where I am at in my self-publishing journey, and I thought, let's just go ahead and do the crazy thing and see what happens. So here we go. Hello friend and fellow adventurer, my name is Kayla. I'm a multi-passionate creative doing all the things and documenting my messy middle so you don't feel so alone in yours. Welcome back to Sidequests and Sideeyes, part cozy tavern, part strategy guide, and all unhinged chaos. Around these parts, we hardcore side-eye hustle culture, we go the pace of grace, which is really stinking slow, and we celebrate every win. Showering does count. All right, so I got a very sweet and kind message the other day on one of my older YouTube videos. It was over a year ago that I think it was like 12 days of Vlogmas. Anyways, obviously I didn't finish that. I think I got like 8 videos in. I almost made it, but one of these days I will complete a Vlogmas in its entirety, but it was not that year. Anyways, I got this comment and it was just really sweet and encouraging, and maybe I'll take a screenshot and set it somewhere here. And it reminded me that, oh my gosh, I really haven't given you all an update on my journey to become a self-published author. This is something I've been working on for years now. Definitely thought it was going to be like a 6-month thing. Nah, should have known better, but I got really excited. So color me curious. I am scrolling on Threads, and by the way, if you are not on Threads, I encourage you to get on Threads because it is one of my favorite social media platforms, and I don't know how long it's going to be this beautiful, wonderful, awesome place before it descends into a chaos realm of ads and just AI slop. So you might as well jump on the bandwagon before it gets bad. Think of like Tumblr, MySpace, Zanga vibes. That's Threads. It's beautiful. Anyways, I'm scrolling on Threads and I run into this account called Lore and Legends Fest, and they have a post that says, maybe I'll screenshot that one as well. And it just says, hey, we really wish that we had more Black indie authors applying to the Lore and Legends Fest. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, combine this with this comment that I just recently got, kind of just saying like, oh my gosh, I love this video. Thanks for sharing your process. Like, I'm excited for you. All of that. And then I like see this post and I think, should I be deranged, slightly delusional, and apply? So I go over to the website and I check it out, and it looks legit. I'm still a little nervous and a little uncertain because I have seen so many book conventions, literary conventions, heck, Comic-Con type events be major flops and scams in the last 2 to 3 years. There have been a lot of these events that have been scams. And so I was a little bit nervous. But I read over everything. It looks legitimate. It looks like the person who has hosted these events has had successful events. People have commented and said it was fun. I'm seeing pictures, I'm seeing feedback. So I think, okay, why not? So my friends, I indeed put in an application. But what does that mean? That means I now have to legitimately finish. I need to legitimately finish this project and be done with it because if I get accepted, I haven't been accepted yet. I don't know if I'll be accepted, but if I am accepted, then I need to bring a book with me that's done, right? But adventurers, it feels like it's high time for an update. I have talked a little bit about my self-publishing journey, but I haven't given you kind of an in-depth update of where I'm at in my process, what I'm doing, and kind of what I'm thinking moving forward. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and start from the beginning. I'm going to give a short overview of how I got here. If you've been here for any stretch of time, then you know about this and you can skip forward. I will try to do a timestamp. If I forget to put a timestamp, you know, just skip forward and, you know, go with the vibes and hopefully you land in the right place. So for those of you who are sticking around and maybe you don't know that I am on the current path to become a self-published author, I started writing on accident as a way to process some depression. I was going through a really severe depressive wave in 2023, and I decided to participate in that year's NaNoWriMo. If you don't know what NaNoWriMo is, it's National Novel Writing Month. I was depressed, and my therapist at the time suggested that I journal. But here's the thing, I hate journaling. I hate journaling. And I know journaling is good for you, but I just haven't figured out this season how to journal that would actually benefit me. A lot of my journaling that I was doing was very like high school coded, right? Like, dear me, how are you? Terrible. Thanks. Talk to you tomorrow. So anyways, I hated journaling. And so I started instead writing a story, kind of inserting myself into the story, but more of, hey, I'm going to, everything that I'm experiencing and I'm feeling and I'm struggling with, I'm going to put in a story and like work out that angst, that depression, that heaviness there. There was a lot going on in the world at the time, and it's honestly only gotten worse since then. But there were a lot of wars, a lot of internal conflict between nations, Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, another country in Africa, and I forgot which one it was at the time that I was just reading about all of these conflicts, all of these wars, all of these genocides, and I just couldn't like handle it. I couldn't handle it because I was going through a depressive wave and then just the heaviness of the world, and I trying to figure out how do I navigate learning about these atrocities so I'm not sticking my head in the sand, while also trying not to make my depression worse by only looking at depressing news. So that's where this fantasy duology was born. And honestly, it was supposed to be one book. It started off as my personal project. I was sharing it with a friend. She said, hey, it's really good. You should actually make this like a legit book. So then I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then I kept writing. I thought, okay, fine, I'll do it, but I'm going to write in a pen name. I'm going to not tell anybody about it. And she's like, no, it's really good. You should probably like actually pursue this. And I thought, no. But eventually she bullied me into it. I say bullied, but she didn't really bully me into it. I reluctantly agreed. And that one book became two books. And I realized, oh my gosh, I actually want to add a magic system. So that one book became two books. So it became a duology. And then it became like a fantasy duology. And so that is how I ended up with the story of Nassim. I picked her name, honestly, because one of my friends from way back in high school, her name is Nassim, and she had posted on Instagram talking about how no main characters ever have her name. And I thought, you know what? Why the heck not? I didn't know what I was doing at the time. So I picked her name as the main character. She was also talking about her Iranian Persian culture that just, she didn't see a lot of it. And I know there are a lot more books out now that include and infuse this kind of culture. I thought, you know what? Why not? I want to honor her in that way. And so this book ended up kind of blossoming out of just accident. Like one thing kind of led to another, and now I've officially finished Wrought in Iron, which is, it's not rot R-O-T, but W-R-O-U-G-H-T. I'm a terrible speller, but I can write ish. So Wrought in Iron is the first one, and I'm not going to tell you the title for the second one yet because I've got to have a little bit of mystery, right? So Wrought in Iron is finished and it's gone through a few edits, and that one would be the book that I would publish and bring to this convention. Okay, so that's kind of the overview of how I got to be a aloof in the middle process of becoming a self-published author. Let me pull up here and I will put it on the screen as well so that you can look at it. It's 4 phases. I made this up. Basically, this is simply to help me move forward. Is this the best way to move forward? No idea. This is the first time I'm doing this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just winging it and hoping that at the end of this, I will have a piece of art that I'm really proud of. So the first phase is phase 1. I'm calling this, let me check my notes on this because I came up with kind of like silly names to remind myself. Phase 1 I'm calling finishing and first. So basically phase 1 was all about being okay with being a beginner. It was writing. It was finishing a dang book. Because you can't get past the first draft if you don't have a first draft. This was really, really hard because, and I still struggle with this, and I've talked about this in my YouTube videos, is you're in the middle of creating and realizing I'm not going to be the best that I want to be yet. And as I'm doing this, as I'm writing and I go back and I reread, I've already outgrown who I was when I first wrote it. So then I have to do that edit. And then, you know, it's just being a beginner in something can be very frustrating because you see the gaps, you see where you want to get better, and you also recognize like, well, the only way I get better is by continuing to show up. But I don't want to show up to this thing that I know is not perfect, not even perfect, but just like where I want it to be. So phase 1 is called, you know, finishing first. But basically you do the first, I did first draft, I did the developmental edits, and I did have some beta readers. So I am officially done with phase 1. And then phase 2, I'm calling my heavy edits. And this is where I'm at in book 1. I am still in phase 1 for book 2. I took a pause to finish book 2 because I added a magic system. I recognize that, oh crud, I added a magic system and I didn't have a magic system in book 2. I do not recommend doing that. I don't recommend doing that. So I needed to finish book 2 because there are some big plot twists. And so I wanted my friend, we're writing buddies. I wanted my friend to read it and I wanted to finish that first. That way, if there are any major twists or plots that are like, doesn't make sense, there are some things I really need to fix in book 1. So that's kind of why there's such a long time between phase 1 and phase 2, because I finished phase 1 back in like 2025, early 2025 of last year, but I had to pause to finish book 2. And then I also got pregnant, and then I had my kid, and then my best friend died. So yeah, that's why there's just a long time between phase 1 and phase 2 on book 1, because I'm actually currently in the final chapter of book 2, finishing writing that up, and then also the epilogue, so that I can go back through into phase 2 of book 1 to world building and magic system edit, because that is going to need, I wouldn't say it needs an overhaul, but it needs some help, because this is what happens when you start a book without a magic system and decide halfway through that, one, it's not one book, it's 2 books, and 2, you're going to add magic. Yeah, it's a fun time. It's a fun time. That's what happens when you are a pantser and not a planner. So phase 2, I will do the world building magic system edit. Character development edit will go after that, and grammar edit will go after that. Those should go more quickly. This is why I need a grammar edit. Those will go quicker because of the fact that I'm just moving faster. Once you get your kind of first phase 1 done, the second phase, your edits just move a little bit quicker, as long as I move quickly through those edits. Phase 3, I'm calling, hold on, my refined edits. And this is where I'm going to bring these edits back around to other people. I'm probably going to have to do some bartering, because editing, which you are totally worth it, editors out there. You're totally worth it. I just don't have the money to pay you yet. I'm probably going to be doing some bartering with some book editors to help me with the dialogue edits, grammar edits, and then after those 2 edits, I will send official ARC copies out. And ARC readers are like advanced reader copies. These are going to be things that are going to help me get early reviews in to hopefully help stir a little bit of buzz around the book. Hopefully people don't absolutely hate it. But it also just gives me some time, like if there are any final little tweaks that are just not landing well, I definitely need to know. I will definitely send an ARC copy to my friend Nassim. She is going to be reading for, what's it called? since she's going to be my sensitivity reader, since some of the cultures that are referenced that I'm using as an inspiration, again, it was never my plan to publish it. So it was kind of just something I was diving into. I am not from her culture directly. I want to make sure that I am representing it and honoring it in a way that's truly honoring her and not problematic in any way. So then we'll move on to phase 4, which I'm calling making it pretty and making it legal. So that's going to be like my final edit, anything that comes back from the ARC readers, anything that I see and decided last minute, like, ooh, I don't like that. Those are going to be final edits. So once all of that's done, you drop it into the page design and formatting, making sure everything looks good so that when it prints, it doesn't print weird. And then that will be, after all that is that, blah, blah, blah. After all that is done, you file the copyright. Copyright is kind of the final thing that you do. Phase 4 also kind of includes more of the marketing side of things. I have a lot of things extras I would like to pour into this project. Like, love to create some music specifically for the books. I would love to commission some art. I have somebody who's already made the book cover for me, which I will share here. I did share on my Patreon, but I will share the photo here. Love her work. If you have not seen her work, I am going to drop all of the information about her down below because it's gorgeous. So this is my book cover. I don't have the back descriptor yet because you gotta finish the book first. Anyways, I would like to commission Marta to do a map for me, maybe some character art. Like, there's just a lot of artwork that I would like to commission if I can, simply because, I don't know, it's fun. It's my art and I think it's fun and pretty, and why not? So yeah, there's just a lot of extra stuff I would like to do for the book, and that is phase 4. That will be phase 4, should I get there. So yes, on book 1, Rotten Iron, we are officially done with phase 1, which feels amazing. We are officially in phase 2, have not begun phase 2, because my goal is, I don't know if I should even have goals at this point, but my goal is by the time I release this video, that book 2 will be finished, that first draft of book 2 will be finished. I am halfway through the final chapter, and then I just have the epilogue, and I'm really kind of holding myself hostage of, like, you need to finish the final chapter before you get to write the epilogue, because I have the whole epilogue like right here. I feel like it will be really quick to write that, because it's just I'm super excited about it. So that is the update. That is the update, the slightly unhinged update about me becoming a self-published author. And here's the thing, I've stopped setting deadlines. And look, my friend told me this. My friend told me this when I first started writing: don't set deadlines, because the art will come when it comes. Like, if you set a deadline, it just sometimes creates the kind of pressure that's not helpful. But I think for me, having some sort of structure, some sort of like general deadline on the horizon, knowing that I can push it back, is helpful for me. However, I will say, I have now learned that I should have listened to her in the first place, which is when it comes to being a writer, and unless you are traditionally published and you have all the time in the world, all the money in the world, all the support in the world, and even sometimes then, I know that it can be difficult to write and hit those deadlines. Deadlines are really not overly helpful, at least not for me as a writer. I think for me in other ways, deadlines are helpful, but as a writer, they are not super helpful. I ended up, like I said, getting pregnant last year, and then at the beginning of this year, I lost my best friend. So like, there was just a lot that happened in my life that was totally unexpected. And so writing just fell to the wayside. I had a regular 9-to-5 job. I had a life that I had to live outside of writing. And I'm coming back to it because I really love and believe in this story. It's going to be it will be the first thing that I ever publish. And so I know it's not going to be perfect. I know one day I'll come back and I'll look back and I'll still be proud of it, but I'll realize like, oh man, yeah, that was my first one. But I think it's time to really push forward and release it. Honestly, my best friend who just passed away, one of my best friends who just passed away earlier this year, like she was super excited. She was super excited about this book, and makes me sad that she's never gonna get to read this book. And, you know, not to be too morose here, but I think her death really helped me realize that I don't want to hold my art back any longer. And yes, sometimes it's going to take a while. Sometimes it's just going to take longer than you expect, and life happens. Life happens. But I don't want to hold on to it anymore. I think I've delayed long enough. So I signed up for a fantasy literary convention in August of 2027 because I need this book to get out. I need this book to be released. And I know I can finish it this year. I know I can self-publish at least the first one this year. I know I for sure can get it self-published by next year in time for this convention festival thing. So I did an unhinged thing and applied without a book being published yet for this convention. Because you know what? Sometimes we have to do scary things. Sometimes we do, and sometimes we do hard things, but we can do the hard, scary things. And if you take anything from this video, I hope that you will take that. If you are also a writer or an author and you are interested in this little 4-phase system I've created for myself to keep me on track, you can have it. It is yours for free. I am going to connect it down below with my Patreon. Over on my Patreon, you will also find early drops, early access to these YouTube videos. I also have some more side quests that you can go on, and you can earn XP to be redeemed for something in the future that I will come up with, something fun. And that is where all of that lives. I have free tiers, and some of those upper tiers, I have an expanding resource library just for you, where you can get all of those side quests in those tiers. Otherwise, if you, like I said, if you want this particular 4-phase checklist, it is for free over on my Patreon, and you can check it out there. I like to end all my videos like this. If you have not heard this ever, or maybe just not recently, I want you to know that I am proud of you and your life is worth getting back up for. Until next time, bye friend.